Welcome to today's daily devotional. There was a time when I was extremely busy with little children. I had 5 children under the age of 6.5, and it kept me very on my toes and running most of the day. So the best time for me to actually spend time with God was once they were all tucked up in bed, because I would generally make them when they were little to all the same bedtime. I really wanted to do it early in the morning, but you didn't always know when the baby might get up, or the child. There was always one child who got up really early, and you'd think, oh, well, I'll get up before 6 or before 5:30 and I'll make sure I fit my prayer time in then. It didn't always work. Or I was so exhausted from the days before, the night before, because I might have been up a few times with the children, that early mornings wasn't a good idea for me. So I would sit once they were in bed and I'd known they were asleep. I'd done the dishes and I'd air dry the dishes. I'd just leave them air drying so I could spend some time with by myself. And I loved it. Sometimes I sat there quite exhausted and my mind was not as alert as I would like it to be, or I had to make sure I sort of had, calmed down enough to then actually make the time to be the best it could be. Because when my mind's into a flurry and I've got, what I'm doing tomorrow, and I've got a list and you're not focusing on God. Well, in Psalm 46, there's one line where God encourages us to be still and know that He is God. So amongst my chaos, whatever chaos it could be with young children, even if it was just an everyday chaos, not extraordinary chaos, there were times I had to sit and be still. Well, in Psalm 46, the line, "Be still and know that I am God," is actually written during a time of instability and fear. The psalmist describes earthquakes, mountains that shaking and trembling. Nations are in uproar. The nations are so in uproar that even the waters roar and foam, and maybe a tsunami. Who knows if there's been earthquakes? Like everything's in an uproar. Kingdoms are falling apart. The nations are loud and aggressive. But right in the center of all this chaos comes God's command, "Be still." The Hebrew word used here, rapha, means let go, stop striving, release your grasp, be still. So in being still, it's not just sitting and being still. It's figuratively even speaking, letting go of stuff in your life, of the chaos, of the frustration, of the unanswered prayers, of the grief, of the hurt, of the cancer that might have gripped you or gripped your family. It's letting go and a trust in the Lord, a surrender to the Lord. It's not a passive silence. It's an intentional surrender of control. In the second half of the verse, it says, "And know that I am God." Be still. So first, let go of what you want to control. Surrender to me and know that I am God. And not just having a knowing here, but having a knowing here. A knowing for God. Why are we talking on this theme? Because even though Advent is not long away, we want to prepare ourselves that we're ready for whatever God has for us for Advent. Advent is He is coming. We celebrate the first time He came at Christmas. But we're also rejoicing and celebrating for when He comes again, the second time, whatever time factor that might be. And we want to be ready. We want to not be in control ourselves. We want to be ready and listening and being surrendered to what God has for us. God is saying to us, when he says, know that I am God, the Hebrew word here is yada, and yada means to know deeply, intimately, experientially. God's trying to hold everything together and say, no, God's not, he's trying to hold us, but he's saying, don't hold everything together. Stop. Allow me to be the Lord of your life. Allow me to be God. Allow me to be the Savior. Allow me to be the Redeemer who has come soon upon this earth. Because that's what we're celebrating. And then we're celebrating in joyful anticipation for when he does come again. And we're all called back home. Listening begins with release. Listening begins with an understanding. I'm now forgetting about everything else, and I'm just going to listen with my ears, with my mind, with my heart, whatever God might say to me. Wouldn't you kick yourself if you heard later something God said to you and you realized you could have heard it months before, if only you'd spent the time, if only you'd been quiet enough? We cannot hear God if we're clinging on to our plans, our pressures, our fears. Stillness is not an escape. Even though I think at times for me, my stillness sitting at the kitchen table with my Bible and my journal open was a bit of an escape from the chaos of the day with the family. But it was also a surrendered heart to whom was the most important person in my life, Jesus Christ. So let's reflect upon this. As Advent begins, God invites us to step off the treadmill of busyness and into the sanctuary of stillness. And that might appear not quite what the world does. The world like amps up Christmas presents, get everything ready, food, what are you going to cook? Whereas God's trying to unwind us and say, we need to now relax and be still and receive from him. How beautiful a time to receive from him. He gave us his son, so we receive his son. What else does he have to bring to us? And he does. God is always gracious. He's always giving. You may not even realize how much noise lives inside of you. The crowded thoughts, the unspoken anxieties, the constant sense of being behind. But God sees it. God sees you. He knows you. And his first invitation is simple and gentle. Be still. Stillness creates space for God's voice. It allows the heart to settle. It reminds you that God is God and that you are held in his loving arms. You don't have to do anything. Just sit with him. Tell him you love him. Surrender to him. Lord, teach us to let go. Teach me to let go. Quiet my mind, quiet our minds, and settle our spirits so that we know truly you more deeply, that we truly do know and are encouraged and work at it, or not work at it at all, but just know we can be still and know that you are God. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit for 2 minutes in silence, in stillness. No agenda, no thoughts, no worries, no action other than being still before him. And let us see what he might say to us. So right now, as soon as this video finishes, take an extra 2 minutes. Don't worry about I'm got to get ready for work, or I'm, listening during the day and I've got to go off and do things for people, or I'm at night and I'm ready to go to bed. whatever time frame you listen to this. Give God an extra couple of minutes. Just sit. Tell him, I'm sitting here for you, Lord, with you, Lord, giving you my life, my plans, my agenda. And I'm asking you to grace me with the stillness that I need so that I can hear your voice. I can hear your spirit talking to me. And that I know that you dwell within me. Have a blessed day. Give him an extra couple of minutes. And I'll see you again later in the week.